Hello there, my name's Ray. I'm with Team S.t.e.a.m. Today I'm here at Flash Industrial Painting, getting ready to sandblast the chassis on this Peterbilt. It's a 379 Peterbilt, not really sure of the year. They tend to look alike throughout quite a few years. Big old sleeper truck. It's going to be a completely different color. It's going to have 3 different colors on it, kind of a fancy stripe scheme. And we're also going to do the chassis. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to get ready to shovel some sand up off the ground, sandblast this chassis so I can get this guy pulled in. This one had really tough paint on. A lot of these chassis do. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's an electrically introduced product, a powder coating, or oftentimes just some sort of paint, a plasticized paint that's been electrically introduced. So you can see it does the wrong job. It holds the rust in. It holds everything in. And then it's really hard to blast off. This took quite a while to blast actually today. So, but we got it in here. Now we're going to get going on it. So I've been in contact with the owner and run some ideas by him, and what we're going to end up doing on this truck is we're going to take these wings off entirely. Those are fine for over-the-road trucks, but a lot of these trucks that we do here, they're ex-over-the-road trucks. They've got 1 million or 2 million miles on them, and now they were being converted into work trucks. And then they still spend some time on the road, but they're not so much a coast-to-coast truck like they used to be. So that in mind, we do a lot of these here. I've got a big pile of these wings out back that I haven't figured out exactly what to do with yet, but over the years we've removed a lot of them, and I try and talk most owners in this scenario, and this scenario happens all the time where a truck's being converted to a work truck. You know, get rid of it into a trailer, and when that happens, I mean, it's going to become a hassle. So we're removing these wings. And that's one of the first things we're doing here today. Now, this truck has what a lot of these old 379s have, and that is millions of cracks. Look at those. Millions. It's nothing but cracks. And it's so textured because some other painter, all the time, some other painter figured they could just spray it really, really heavy and fill the cracks. But that doesn't work. Paint doesn't fill cracks. All it does is make things ugly. And the sides of the roof cap are that way. The sides of the sleeper, I don't know if this is picking up on video, are that way. The back of the sleeper, and from here up, this is all metal. But from here up, this cap, all the way around this sleeper, is just covered in millions and millions and millions of these cracks. Tiny, tiny little cracks, 1/4 inch long to a 1/2 inch long. Some of them are 1/2 centimeter long. And there's millions of them. And every one of them needs to be filled with body filler before we can continue. Is there any more at the top that we missed?
No, it looks like the fiberglass is just pinching it a little bit. There we go.
Alright.
Oh, there's some double stick tape on it. That's what we got.
And that's probably factory. So here we've pulled one of the wings off. These holes that need it, and re-rivet this side. We'll re-rivet these to this base, but I won't do these until after I do body work back here, and I won't do these until after we've sanded that. There's no need to scratch in between all the rivets if we don't need to. We'll sand it first and then we'll put the rivets on. All right.
Hi, honey.
And now these will join the rest of the pile. Okay, so we're plugging along here. We're more or less one hand short this week. We got somebody that's off doing something else, and Kittrick and I are getting through this guy. We've got this bodywork mostly done, and we've got the wings taken off, of course, and then we've got these holes where the wings were patched up. I'll show you what I mean there. I went ahead and ground it out and then put some fiberglass in, and then once that's set up I just ground it all flat again, and that's just an inlay for fiberglass on the outside just to guarantee you're never going to see the hole again. Most people would just patch that with body filler, but those holes tend to come back, and I don't mean as holes, I mean just the outline of the hole will come back. And this was a good size hole. And then surrounded by 6 holes. This was that shelf, and then there was a big electrical cord that went through there. I just cut that thing off. They're never going to use that for anything. I shoved it back down in there and patched over it with fiberglass. And then, of course, that's where that wing was. All right, we got this guy ready for the first color. Just putting in a few rivets at the back. Got everything else all prepped. What I've done since the last time I turned the camera on was we finished up all the bodywork, primed it in wet sanding primer, as you can see back here. And then I went ahead and sanded everything down here that matters, because this red's going to be applied right through here this morning. And then we're going to drill these holes, the braces, and rivet all those rivets. Now here I am, here it's the next day. Yesterday I went ahead and got that red on it. And as you can see, we've just done the side of the hood and the upper portion here of the door. I want to try and keep the stripe between this line of rivets and this line of rivets. So that's kind of the criteria that I went by for putting the red on. Because I don't like stripes broken up by rivets. They tend to ruin a stripe. You know, this is the picture that the guy dropped off that he wants the truck to be similar to. Now what I'm going to do here is I've got this piece of cardboard. I taped two of them together so I can get one that's big enough. And I've got some initial measurements taken. And I've got some of the initial striping on it. But to do this bottom stripe, I want it to be the same on both sides. And it's got kind of a lingering angle that gets tighter at the end. So it's not even the same all the way through. So I need to get that duplicated on the side of this by sketching it out and then cutting it out until I'm happy with it, and then putting this up on both sides and tracing it. That's the only way it's going to be the same on both sides. Now this is what I was talking about. Now I've got it all figured out, cut out, measured out, taped to the side, and then I even traced it. Well, you can see those pin marks, but it's traced out in pen. And I'll tape to the inside of the pen so I don't have to worry about it interfering with my paint job. And then I'll just put this on the other side and I'll have the exact same shape. All right, so I've got both sides of the hood done. I always just go ahead and get some of the more technical things out of the way first, just so I don't have to think about them. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish striping down the side of the truck and around the back of the truck. All right, now I've reached the point on both sides of the truck here where I've got the top stripe completed all the way along. And here is where I'm going to have that second kind of embellishment that's going to resemble this one. Only it can't be nearly so big, and I don't intend it to be. I just want to add a little something back here to kind of add balance to the truck. So here's what I ended up with, and this is already on both sides now. Now I'll finish striping out the rest of the stripes all the way around the truck. All right, so I've got all the initial vinyl run. And now I'm in a position to go ahead and sand the few spots that might need it, tidy things up a little bit, and then put some white on. So now here today I got the white on it yesterday. And we're just busy doing the painstaking process of masking all this in. And now I'm to the point where I'm ready to mix up some primer and go ahead and start shooting this. Well, I noticed when I got back to my camera yesterday after shooting this that the battery had run out. This is a new camera, and my old camera was a setup where I could plug it in if the battery was running out and still record. And I plugged this one in while it was recording, and apparently it doesn't do that. So I don't know how, at this point I haven't seen the footage, I don't know how much you saw, but got this painted brown yesterday. And now we're gonna begin the task of carefully unmasking it. I got it all unmasked. Turned out pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and get the rest of it unmasked now. I never unmask anything until I get the stripes unmasked. Now that that's done, we can go ahead and unmask stuff and start putting it back together. And now we got all the stuff out and laid all over the floor, all the components. We still need to get the exhaust inside. It's just sitting outside where it's been the whole time. And we're busy getting stuff installed. Charging the battery. It was dead before I brought it in, so I want to make sure it's good and charged when the owners show up. All right, so I turned the boys loose. We got her all put together. Let's have a look. So here's how she turned out. Nice and shiny. Nice and sharp. All the dimensions are there. There's not any sagging stripes or stripes that don't meet up with other stripes. They're all the same dimensions. They're all the same measurements from bottom to the top, top to the bottom, space in between. They got that nice red in between. Really makes it pop. Chassis all done. Nice and shiny. The back is now dent free. The wings are gone. Got a battery charger on it. It was dead when I went to bring it in the shop, so I want to make darn sure it's ready when they show up. That happens a lot with work trucks. Pretty nice. Can't see any signs that it was ever hailed out. Turned out good. Well, I'm gonna pull this guy outside and get a few shots of it for my Facebook page, and then we'll go find something else to do. It's too hot to be in here. All right, we got her outside. Take a walk around her. I never even bothered to check what year this is. A lot of these 379s look the same for many years. This might even be a 90s model. It definitely had some of the characteristics. Done and done.